Hi Floss Tube, I'm Lori Schickalone and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel, who's given me thumbs up and made comments. I really appreciate it. I hope to converse with more of you soon. I know there are so many floss tubers out there. I watch a lot of you, and a lot of you I still am looking to find. I try to check out new people all the time because I totally enjoy watching floss tube. Being retired, it's my connection sometimes to other people. And where I am, it's kind of not secluded, people wise. There's tons of people, but I'm retired and they're working, so it's not always easy to get together with other people. But my floss tube family is what I totally enjoy. As a matter of fact, just yesterday morning, I was watching Arlene Cohen from Works by ABC. If you haven't seen Arlene, I recommend her. Give her a try. She's really great, very knowledgeable in what she does. She designs patterns for needlework as well as cross stitch. And yesterday she shared her new patterns with us. So stay tuned. When my order comes in, I will be sharing it with you. Another floss tuber that I'd like to thank, I mean, there's so many of you that I could be thanking, but Teresa, the kitten stitcher. I felt like I was at market with her. She'd go into the different booths, talk to the designers, sometimes on camera, sometimes behind, but showed us their new designs. I mean, it was such a wonderful experience. I've never seen market, and being new to cross stitch basically and floss too, it really, really got me so excited to see all that goes on. I wish that we can get a pass and go visit them as well. So thank you, Teresa. Okay, I'm going to show you what my finishes were this week. The first one is Fragments in Time by Summer House. This is their number one. I believe there's going to be 8 of these. And this is my finish. It's a little pillow, and I just finished it with some fabric that basically had the same colors in there. I don't know why. It reminds me of Dutch, but I love it. I love it. So that's my first one. The second one is Little House Needleworks Virtues, and this is Love. I didn't do it in the call for red, like finish it in red. I finished it in green to match the other pillow. But if you remember, the pillow was slightly smaller, and that's because this seam and this seam was thinner. But once I sew it on the machine, unless I really have to, I don't rip it out. So I like pillows in all different sizes. And this is my Love one, and it has a little button right here. Then I was working with ribbon on my sewing machine, and I started stitching like designs on the ribbon because it was plain. If you can see, was a bicycle, and then I went into butterflies, and I did it on a tearaway stabilizer. But the problem with it, tearaway stabilizer, it tears easily, but it leaves like the center. Like this would happen to be flowers, and now I tried it with a darker colored thread. But it leaves that little inside that you would have to play with to pull out. So in doing so, I just did it without the stabilizer, and I made this bow to go with my Country Cottage April Cottage. Let's see, I'll hold it back a little further so that you can see it. Yes, this was planned. The nail polish matches. I do crazy things like that sometimes. So this is the April, and this will go down. Oops, I must have moved the camera. Sorry. This will go downstairs in a day or two because I'm hosting Easter this year, and I have to get the decoration part done because then I have to start the cooking. Oh, okay, I have to get in costume again. This is my homage to Game of Thrones. It's ink circles, turrets, and town. And for those of you that are familiar with Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons, Queen of the Andes, and it goes on and on. But anyway, here's my finished product. This was done on Aida 16 count white blizzard. And I'm going to frame this in a black frame. It should fit in an 8x8. And what I did was, oh, you know what? I'm holding this incorrectly. It goes this way because I put this thread up on the corner so that I know which side was up, and it'll stay there until I frame it, so that I don't have to actually study the stitches to see in which order that they're going in. So that. Then I dyed some fabric, and I did 16 count Aida, and this was white, and I tea and coffee dyed it per Priscilla and Chelsea and Vana, the Twisted Stitcher, and I did it with tea bags and coffee. And then this was off-white, and you can tell the difference. And I'm happy with both of them, the modeling. I had a little problem with it that I threw instant coffee in after I threw the fabric in. So I don't think it dissolved very well because there was pieces on my fabric when I pulled the fabric out after cooking it for like 25 minutes. I threw it in the oven, but then I kept having thoughts about it. So after 10 minutes, I took it out of the oven. I put it under the faucet, rinsed it out. And then at that point, I just threw it in the dryer, my clothes dryer. Stop moving, camera. I'm filming on my tablet. I tried my cell phone, but what happened was when I went to play it a little bit back to see how it was, like all you saw was this, like there was no background. And when I was holding up things, you'd see part of it. So I came back to my tablet, and I know it doesn't take for very long. So that's why I talk a little fast, because I want to make sure I get everything in that I want to tell you. And hopefully I don't have to do it in 2 parts. So the other finish I had was Lizzie Kate Flip It series. This is June, and I'll make it into a little pillow like I did in the other ones for my daughter-in-law for her classroom. Now my whips. The first one is a Mirabilia cherub with a bird. There's no picture that I can show you. It was a free pattern on their website. It was from 2000. It's still available. And this is it. This is where I got. This is the wing, one wing. This is another wing. Then these were the flowers. And there was, I guess, confetti heavy, where there was like 2 and 3 stitches, and then went to another color. And then this is the beginning of her face right here. And then I'll move down. And anyway, what I usually try to do with my whips is I try to work for it on about a week, and then I swap it out for something else. And usually by the second week on most of them, like the second time around, I complete them because I don't usually do very big projects. But now I'm going to do larger projects. And so I guess it'll take me longer to do, and I'll have more whips. And, when I come back, I want to make sure I have something to show you. So the next one is that I showed the last time was Hello Spring by Plum Street Samplers. And I was going to make this as a small for an exchange at the New Jersey retreat, but I said I used the wrong count of fabric, so it was going to be a medium. Well, I think it's more of a large. This is where I've gotten. I ordered a floss that goes right here from my LNS, and I'm waiting for it to come in. I have a few things on order, so he usually waits for everything to come in before he sends me that email. But I'm probably going to take a ride over to the store, most likely tomorrow, and I'll see if they have that done, because that's all that's missing on this project is the filling in of this flower, and then I'll be done with that. Then I just want to thank Andi from Nana's Needles for enabling me on this next whip that I'm going to show you. It's called Plymouth Sampler, and it's from the Sampler Company. Brenda Keys is the designer. And I saw hers, and I just loved it. Just loved it. And I just started this like 3 days ago. What was nice about this pattern is they gave you this envelope of, like, it's a plastic sleeve, and they said to keep the pattern in here. And because what you do is then the pattern is folded in half, you put it in here, you stitch, then you flip it to the other side and you stitch. And it preserves it, and it's been working really well. Not that I've gotten that far, but I mean, it's a great idea, and I love it. This is how far I did get with it. And I'm doing this on 16 count white chocolate. So I got to the alphabet of, let's see, A through O, and I did some of the border here and here. And I will most likely work on this up to Easter and then switch it out for something else. I am hosting Easter, so I will be busy with that and preparing and cooking, and so I don't know how much stitching I'll get done. So it might be a week or two before I come back and share with you any updates. Here are some things that I'm planning to start in the near future to get it in with my whips. The first one is Little House Needleworks, Blessed Are the Pure at Heart. It's just a little pillow. Basically, it's 75 by 75. And this came with the Call For threads, which is crescent colors. And I think these are the very first crescent colors that I ever owned. And I think that's why I bought the pattern, because it came with it. I bought this pattern when I was on vacation in City Island, New Jersey. Not City Island, that's in New York. Cape May, New Jersey. And it came with the floss. So I said, oh, let me give that a try. Then the next one that I purchased, I don't know, it calls for Crescent Colorworks, which I told you that, no, Gentle Arts. These are Gentle Art colors. I do not own any Gentle Art, so I converted them to DMC, and I'll do that. I'll get that into my rotation. Then the other one that I have here is, it's a story behind it. I was looking at long dog sampler patterns, and I've seen people working on them, and I loved them. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. So the one that I chose, I call it Pagale, and it's probably the Italian in me, but it's really called Pagale. And this is the sampler, and it's hard to see. Now, let me take it out of this plastic. I should have taken it out earlier, but when you look at it, you still get a little bit of glare. When you look closely, you see all the animals in it. There's a bird up here. There's a spider in this corner. There's a bunny in here. There's the bunny. Right in here, a little bunny. And I just loved it. And what I did was I looked up the story behind Pigalle. And I looked up, that's how I found out this pronunciation is Pigalle. And it's an area in Paris. And it's named after the sculptor Jean-Baptiste Pigalle. And excuse me for looking down, I'm reading my notes on this. Pigalle is a famous tourist district with many sex shops, theaters, and adult shows. I wonder why I chose it. The neighbor's raunchy reputation led to call it by its nickname, Pig Alley. I had heard of Pig Alley, never knew what it was. So Pig Alley, Pigalle. And it hosts one of the most famous cabarets there, the Moulin Rouge. So I'm going to look forward to starting this one. And that's it as far as any haul and project that I'll be working on. I just want to show you one or two quilts that I have. One is for the holidays. I named this one Penelope Rose. She's a little bunny holding flowers. And I watched a TV show on Create TV called Quilting Arts. And they show different media. And this was just cut out, placed on what was a wool felt, well, a wool sweater. I felted a wool sweater in the wash, and then I pinned all the pieces on it. I sewed around it, and then I cut it out. The flower are Lazy Daisy and a French knot there. And then I quilted it. You can't see the quilting too well because what I did was I outlined each of the petals of those leaves. So she goes up for Easter. And then I was taking down my winter quilt that I have hanging in my family room, and I will stand up for this one. I did this all by hand because this is before I stitched on the machine. And I always said I had more control. I guess I really have to go back. By hand. And I did this. I dated it. I called it my Little House Quilt, February 1997. You're supposed to, when you finish quilts, you're supposed to date and title them if you'd like, and where it was made. So each piece was hand stitched together by hand, not a machine, and then hand quilted. And I'll just, basically it's pretty much a square. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Until next time, for those who celebrate Easter, have a great Easter. For those who celebrate Passover, have a great Passover. I'm not sure of the terminology of Passover. I know that you eat certain foods, so I don't know if it's... Anyway, happy Passover. Blessings for Passover, and blessings for Easter and any other holiday you might be celebrating this time of the year. I hope to speak with you soon. Have a great stitchy week. All my friends, take care. Bye.